Hey, welcome to New Jump City, everybody, where we recap the week in American and Japanese sequential art. I am your host, Christian, the unbiased king, Espinal, and joining me through Discord, it is the man, the myth, the legend, my partner in crime, the tank top sage. It's Joshua Gangsta Time Cole.
Well, it's called partner, but it should be called gangster time.
What's good, Chris? What up, everybody listening?
Oh, yeah. Brian couldn't make it today, so it's just us two. Edgelord, big news, Brian. But he'll be back next week. And we're a little late today with scheduling snafus left and right, but we're back, baby. We're not missing a week here.
Well, yes.
Very excited to get into it. We got some stuff to get into. We have 5 chapters to get into today, so very excited. But before we do that, let's get into plugs. You can find me at the Chris Espinal on Twitter and Instagram. Joshua Cole, where can they find you?
At JD Cole _37, that's on Instagram. And at New Jump City Josh, that's on Twitter and TikTok.
Hell yeah. Brian is at b.esp on Twitter and Instagram, and he streams video games on occasion at twitch.tv/itspunchline. Check him out on there. You can follow the show itself at New Jump City on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok. I try to put up clips as best I can, but we don't have a lot of video capability right now. So it's kind of tough to pick good clips, but hey, I try my best. I try to clip something every week and maybe throw it on the TikToks. So check it out. You can email the show itself at New Jump City on Twitter and at newjumpcitypod@gmail.com with any questions, suggestions, anything you guys want us to talk about. And we'll talk about it on our pre-show chat show. We didn't do one this week since it's just me and Josh. And we wanted to, we usually like to have the entire trio here for the pre-show.
Yeah.
So, we didn't do it this week, but we'll do it next week for sure and get into that backlog. Keep sending them though. We need more, we need questions. So keep it coming if it comes to you, and we'll talk about it. If you guys have any thoughts on the chapters, we'd love to talk about it on the pre-show as well. Anything to give us some fodder for us to talk about. Subscribe to us while you're at it. We're pretty much on every podcast platform that exists, including Pocket Cast and Castbox. We get downloads off of that. So, do all that stuff. Give us a like, a share, a subscribe on YouTube as well. Keep it coming. That's it for plugs right now. We're going to get into spoilers and we're going to start the show. One Piece. This is One Piece chapter 1131, Loki in the Underworld. So One Piece is back from its 3-week hiatus. Last we left off with One Piece, the Straw Hats have made it onto Elbaf. At least the original 6 Straw Hats have made it onto Elbaf. The later half of the Straw Hats are currently on their way. They're still on Dorian Broggy's ship, getting there. And Luffy and the gang had just escaped a castle in Elbaf, that was ruled by a person claiming to be the sun god. And Luffy, on his escape, ran into what the person who's actually proclaiming to be the sun god, Loki, one of the princes of Elbaf. And we're picking up where we left off there. Luffy is psyched because Loki has given him confirmation that he is indeed on Elbaf, and they've been waiting forever to get on there. He's so excited. He's cutting Loki off from trying to talk to Luffy until Loki finally has enough, and he just yells, "Hey, I'm talking to you!" And he explains that he is the sun god enshrined in the legends of this land, and he is forbidding Luffy to speak without permission. And he asks Luffy what he makes of the situation. And Luffy's like, I don't know, man. You're chained up, I guess. And he's like, keenly surmised. He says, but no man chooses. Funny. He says, no man chooses to be chained. So, he reveals that he's actually been chained up in the underworld for 6 years. And he considers himself the strongest of all of Elbaf, but he is currently chained to the Jewel Tree Atom, which is the exact tree that the Sunny is made out of, actually. It's wood from this tree, and it's also the tree that Gold Roger had his ship made out of. So that's interesting. I don't even know how like they get this, if that's the case, how Frankie was able to buy something like this. But yeah, he's currently attached to the Jewel Tree Atom, and the chains that he's chained up with is obviously Sea Prism Stone, so he's unable to use his powers. And he asks Luffy if he wants to make a deal. He offers Luffy, in exchange for unbinding the chains, he offers to completely eliminate one rival pirate crew of Luffy's choosing. And he's like, but he does give Luffy the option. He's like, now, if you'd rather not, I won't force your hand. But he explains that there are gigantic beasts in this country that are like stewards of this underworld. And basically, this is where where Elbaf sends its prisoners to be tortured and killed by these giant monsters forever. And apparently, Loki has been friends with them since he was a kid. And all the while he's talking, Luffy's like, wow, this takes me back. Because Luffy has also spent time training in the woods with giant creatures over the time skip and on Amazon Lily, or the island adjacent to Amazon Lily.
Yeah, Loki doesn't know how regular this is.
Yeah.
Luffy.
Yeah. But he finds out real quick. But we do get revealed that there are humans who actually live in the underworld, and they wear these rags that I guess smell really bad to repel these beasts. So these humans go up to him and is like, can we rob this guy? They ask Loki for permission to rob Luffy. And before they could even give permission, they also mentioned that Shanks has actually been down to visit Loki. At that point, Luffy's like, wait, did you just say Shanks? And by this time, in like the 5 seconds they were talking to Loki, Luffy has already tamed all of the beasts in the underworld. And to the surprise of the humans that were there, honestly, one of my favorite lines is that when he's like, did you just say Shanks? Is like, we did, but this is really invalidating everything we thought we once knew. Just seeing Luffy like all cuddly with these monsters. Yeah, Luffy's like, so did he really come here? And Loki answers with, if you mean that coward of a pirate, he certainly did. To which Luffy immediately goes Gear 4 and tries to punch the shit out of Loki. And Loki's like, chill, I was just playing. I wasn't serious. I'm sorry. It was really funny. Luffy calms down. He's like, don't say that, even as a joke. And Loki's pissed off because Luffy just attacked him while he was chained up with Sea Prism Stone.
This is fan service for all the people that wanted Luffy to get serious.
Yeah, for real. Yeah, for real.
Here you go.
Yeah, there you go. He's still serious.
Talk about Shanks.
He's still capable of getting angry. Are you guys happy now? Toxic ass. So Loki's just yelling at him, and in his mind, he's thinking the instant that he gets his chains off, he's gonna kill Luffy. But Luffy's like, then don't make me mad, and I won't, or I'll embed you into that tree. And he starts asking him questions about like, why was Shanks here? Why did he come to see you? That couldn't be why he was here. Is he still in Elbaf? And Loki, I guess, senses, a little bit of an opening here, a little weakness, and he's like, you won't be getting those answers for nothing. So it's entirely possible that Luffy's going to end up freeing Loki. But meanwhile,
For him to just say, yeah, I seen him the other day. He left though.
Yeah, he left. He's gone now. We then cut over back to the bridge that the Straw Hats were crossing. We see that the navigator of the crew, who seems to be the person who was like attacking the Straw Hats in the castle, his name is Rodo. He starts running out of the castle, and we see that Gerd and Goldberg are chasing after him, carrying the Sunny. The Straw Hats, not knowing what's going on, they're just like, we just got to get out of here because we don't know what these giants are going to do to us. And we cut back to the underworld, and we see that Hajrudin is on Elbaf. And not only that, he's in the underworld. And he is down hunting for this moose so he could feed the Straw Hats. Now that he knows that they're there, he's very excited as one of the 7 captains of the Straw Hat fleet. And he and his shipwright Stanson start trying to carry the moose back to wherever their hideout is, I guess. And we get a little recap on this 2-page spread where we see, how Hajrudin came to meet Luffy and how he became one of the Straw Hat fleet members. After that, we cut back.
I wish Oda would give these refreshers a little bit more often.
Yeah, he gives them
so
fairly.
I don't have to rely on Chris's vast wisdom of the One Piece universe.
He gives them every so
time.
often. But yeah, for the Straw Hat fleet, I imagine he needs to give them for sure.
Hajrudin.
Yes, Hajrudin.
Hajrudin.
Yep.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a Hunter x Hunter name.
It really is. Meanwhile, we cut back to the giant pirates ship, and we're hearing the Straw Hats talk about how Brooke cut a woman's hair. That woman is Robin. And we see that Robin's got her bangs back, baby. Pre-time skip Robin vibes going on here. I like it. I miss this Robin.
It's cool.
Yeah, but she did it obviously.
I like time skip Robin more.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, obviously she did it.
I don't love bangs that much.
Yeah, you don't like bangs? You're not a bangs guy?
I don't know. At least not for Robin.
Well, I guess she did this specifically so that Saul would recognize her.
Yeah.
Which is a sweet little thought, She's so excited to meet him again. Even Frankie is just like saying my thoughts out loud. He's like, "Oh man, I just know this reunion's gonna have me balling." I feel the same, Frankie. And we end this chapter as the remaining Straw Hats are about to disembark onto Elbaf as well. And the last couple of panels, there's a giant running around yelling about how Saul has fallen, Dr. Saul has fallen, and he won't get up.
Need life alert.
Yeah. Yeah. Imagine a giant with a huge life alert.
Yeah, that shit would be the size of a fucking television.
Yeah, for real. Like a 70-inch TV around their neck.
Yeah.
If anybody needs it, it's Saul. He's got to have serious fights.
He better not be fucking dead. No. Those are my thoughts right now. I'm just gonna get straight into them.
Yeah, let us know what you think.
Oda, it's not a cool flip. It's not a cool twist. It's some M. Night Shyamalan shit, and you're better than that. Don't do that to us. You see that big sword out there on the island? Make it so that actually it's alive. Let that be the twist. Leave Saul alone. Let that nigga die later, all right? Let Robin meet him. Let him say what he needs to say about the past. Let him drop some lore. And then you can smoke him. All right? Just come on, Oda. Don't like that. Don't yank my chain that way. Feel me? I think I speak for Chris, too.
I mean,
I
yeah.
don't think you appreciate this at all.
I would not appreciate it at all. I don't think he's going to die, though. I feel like
I don't like this being used as bait.
Yeah, you don't even like the thought of it.
I feel disrespected.
Mm-hmm.
This was a low quality bait.
Yeah.
And I don't care for it. It's a bad sign from Oda. Someone told him to do this, and he said, all right. And he needs to never do that again. That's how I feel.
Well,
so the new giant pirates, right?
yes.
the weirdo Roto is the navigator, who and Hadrudin,
Yes.
whose life got saved by God Usopp and the Straw Hats, is Roto's boss.
Yep.
You think Hadrudin Bomb knows that he stole like the Straw Hat ships and all of that?
I don't. Um, I don't think so. Otherwise,
Why
there
would he
would
do
be.
something like that?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, Gerd and the other and Goldberg were talking about how like Loki's actually not the accursed one; it's actually Roto. So Roto might be a prince as well.
Yeah, maybe.
Because
That's a good
it's
point. He does kind of look like snotty,
yeah,
you know.
Hajrudin, Loki, and Roto are well. I'm guessing Roto are all princes, but Hajrudin's definitely a
Yeah.
prince, and so is Loki.
His clothes look more regal than everybody else.
Who's
All the other giants,
Hajrudin?
except for Loki. Yeah. No. Roto, his outfit, like he looks more regal than
Yeah, he
the
does.
other. I've noticed. That's a good catch. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, but the other giant pirates seem to think he's a weirdo too. So
Yeah, that needs to get resolved.
yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
So to switch gears a little bit for a bit of a throwback, do you remember Neo?
Like from the Matrix.
Nope. From a manga that ended a few years ago.
Neo.
Yeah. He was the last villain of a very ridiculous series.
Neo.
Yep.
Why am I not remembering this?
Remember the series Toriko?
Oh my god. I forgot about Toriko. Yeah, what about him?
Now think about Toriko and do you remember Neo?
I don't remember what he looked like.
He look up look up Toriko Neo on your phone and
Yeah.
whoever's listening, go for it too.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
He was like a appetite demon or something like that, but he was
Oh my god.
something else. Yeah, remember?
Is he like this?
Remember he was what?
He's this little tiny guy that's really skinny, right? And then he becomes this gigantic
Yeah.
monster.
He was a problem. He started eating like everything. Remember there was like the boss animals. They had the dire wolves, the snake, the fucking bird.
Yeah.
Yo, he smoked them all. He drank the fucking the snake, all the fluids.
Yeah, this guy was crazy.
Because it wrapped itself around him like so many times. So yo, I don't know. I missed that. I want to read that last arc. I didn't know what was going on, but it was so entertaining. And Torgo has a move called like something fork. It's funny. It's really, really funny. And there's jellyfish taxis. Torgo and One Piece probably happened in the same like planet.
You think so? Well, there is a
Maybe
crossover
different
anime.
time zones.
There is
Yeah,
a One Piece and Torko crossover.
Yeah, maybe maybe like One Piece, like maybe this whole like One Piece land is just a section of the globe. No, that makes no sense because of the red line, right?
I just sent you something if you want to look at it.
Yeah, I'm looking. Yeah, slurp, slurp. And this was the final boss.
Yeah. So why'd you bring this up?
Thanks for bringing it back. Oh, because I looked at all the animals when they was pulling up to Luffy again, and it just made me think about Toriko. Funny how that worked.
Yeah. You think Neil would
It
have
was the
eaten all
wolf
of
and the
these?
snake. Yeah. I don't think anybody here could beat Neo.
Mm.
I think Neo could beat Luffy in a fight, and I think he would high diff winning a food eating competition against Luffy.
Oh,
I think it'd be close, but Neo would win ultimately. So yeah, what were your thoughts on this chapter?
I really like this chapter. I feel like it's not my RGC, but I did really enjoy it. It's probably my second place or so. I like a lot of things are being put into motion. We got to see a little bit more of Loki. I'm very curious about him. I feel like there's more. Like he's not what he seems. He mentions how he made friends with these animals when he was a kid, and I can't help but think that
Yeah.
that's like kind of a hint that he's more similar to Luffy than we know.
You're talking about Loki, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking about Loki. I'm still on the train of Loki's probably a good guy secretly, and he just kind of puts on this facade.
Yeah, that's probably the case. I agree. I mean, maybe I think a part of me was thinking too deep about Loki, where it's like, oh, obviously he looks evil, so just to curb our expectations, he's actually good. But what if that's so obvious that they got to curb our
A double curb?
expectations? Double curb our yeah. What if Oda does that and he ends up being good and understanding, and then he just violates. He picks up that big ass sword and chops the tree down.
I think it's actually
fucks up.
Sorry,
No, go ahead.
I thought you meant the thing on his back because I noticed that it's actually a hammer. It looks like.
No, I meant the huge,
The big sword.
one
That's like I realized.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's important to me.
Yeah. No, I mean I'm sure it's going to be important.
The sword. Yeah.
I feel like there's going to be a reason that sword is in the ground like that.
My expectations are pretty high, and it's not something that like I willingly wanted it to be that way, but it just happened to be. You can't just do that. You can't make something like that stick out of this big ass island and then think like, oh yeah, decoration, ornamentary. Absolutely not.
Ornamentary. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Well, I think also it's because talk about Loki again. I think he's like secretly a good guy because at least one of the new giants has a good opinion of him, and has already hinted
The
that.
girl.
Like
The
Gerd.
doctor.
Yeah, Gerd doesn't think that he's the accursed prince. Yeah, I think she actually thinks it's Roto. So maybe Roto's the bad guy. Triple curve.
Well, I mean, he did kidnap the straw, half of the Straw Hat crew.
Mm-hmm. That's a bad start. First impressions are important.
Definitely a bad start, without a doubt. This was a good chapter.
Yeah, it
wasn't
was.
my number one of the week, but like this is really interesting. One Piece, has a way of building the excitement, and you don't even know it. You just I'm like mid chapter, I'm kind of lost in it already. Like all of a sudden, we're in Albath, in a fucking snowy mountainous range, and he's talking to Loki. I completely forgot about Egghead.
Yeah.
100%. Like, matter of fact, when not the Stella, but when they featured one of the, I forgot his name, Einstein.
Vegapunk?
Vegapunk, thank you, man. But not him, the girl version, War or something
Lily?
like that, or Evil. Yeah, Lily. Yeah. Seeing her reminded me that like that she was even there. So
Yeah.
great job, Oda. I'm lost. I'm lost in Albath.
I'm lost.
We're here.
But yeah, good chapter of One Piece. I'm excited what happens next. I'm glad that we're not on break next week.
Yeah, wow. Nice.
Very excited into it. But those are all my thoughts really. Looking forward to seeing how this all plays out. You ready to move on?
Yes.
Let's go.
Bloody cross.
Sakamoto Days. This is Sakamoto Days chapter 189, Great Misfortune. Last we left off at Sakamoto Days, Sakamoto had invited Torres home for a meal with his family. And Torres was blown away by how his daughter could make a paper plane and how his wife could cook. And also how Sakamoto himself could cook. And was wondering why he doesn't apply that same skill to when he fights. And I'm still wondering when we're going to get a little bit of clarity on that. Meanwhile, in the JAA jail, the fortune teller has made her way out of her cell and is accompanied by two guards that are, trying to help her, stay alive.
And trying not to be randos in the story as hard as they can.
Trying not to be just
Admittedly.
fodder. Being the best fodder ever.
That's another good way to say it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tenkyu is a new assassin that we've met that has ties to X/Slur. He is on the outs with Slur after suggesting that they attack Sakamoto's family, to which Slur did not take kindly to, and they had a falling out. And he asked Shin how he can repair his relationship with his friend, because he thinks that Shin is the JAA fortune teller. Shin, I can't talk today. Shin has convinced Tenkyu that he is the fortune teller. And recently he started thinking, he told him the story about how him and Slur split ways, and Shin immediately attacked him because he sensed that Sakamoto's family was in danger, so they got to take this scumbag out right here and right now. And Shin opens this chapter by continuing to attack Tenkyu. Tenkyu is confused. He's like, "Whoa, Shin, time out, I'm sorry." And as Shin continues to attack, Heisuke shoots like the tip of his weapon and is like, "Hey, calm down, bro. I don't want to have to point my gun at you." And Tenkyu takes that moment to escape. Shin and Heisuke start arguing, and he's like, "Why'd you stop me?" And he's like, "Of course I'm going to stop you. You're going to kill him. You're going to go back to being an assassin?" And he's like, "If that's what I have to do to stop him, I will. Otherwise, something terrible could happen." And he wouldn't hesitate to kill Aoi and Hana. So, I had to do it. And Heisuke is, making the point is like, "Yo, we both changed when we met Taro, right? We can't just start deciding whether to kill him when we haven't even talked to the guy yet." We cut back to Tenkyu, who's running, and he's like, "Rats, I screwed up again. Where did I go wrong this time?" And
Rats.
he's like thinking to himself, like, how come I always piss people off? I don't get it. Just when I thought we were going to be friends. And then he starts thinking, like, wait, why do I even want friends? And it's at that moment that that Atari and her bodyguards burst through the wall. And he's like, "Whoa, what the hell is this?" And she's just yelling. One of the guards, the female guard, is talking to Atari, and she's yelling at her, like, "I told you there's a gas leak. You can't smoke through that door. You can't smoke in this area." And Atari's like, "Seems like some bad luck." And they all seem to have noticed each other. Noticed Tenkyu sitting there, and she's like, "Time's up." And she says that, "Miss Hoshi, Mr. Daikyo, I'm sorry. We seem to have come across great misfortune. The great misfortune," which is crazy. Hoshi is like, "Is this guy? This is the great misfortune?" That's when Daikyo comes up and he actually starts boxing Tenkyo out. He punches him through a window, and he's like, "Wait, what gives? I clearly didn't do anything this time." And Daikyo's like, "If this is the guy, if this is the killer that Atari foretold, it can't be helped. I gotta crush him." And he continues to push Tenkyu through the wall, and backing him up. And Daikyo is like thinking to himself, like, "Whoa, he's not fighting back at all. Could it be that he's not into close combat? Well, I got this. I just got to keep on him." And it's at that point, Shin seems to mind control him, telling him to stop. And everybody converges on this one point. Tenkyu's like, "Shin, you're not mad anymore?" And Shin notices that his weapon is unused. And he asks Tenkyu why he didn't fight back. And he's like, "Well, Shin, don't you remember? You said my friend would forgive me if I don't kill people." And he goes on to say that he doesn't understand what friendship really is, but when he sees the two of them, he's kind of jealous. And it's at this point Shin kind of realizes he fucked up. He's like, "Oh my god, he's just really naive. Heisuke might be right. Maybe he can change." And Hoshi points her gun at them, and she asks them who they are. And Tenkyu explains like, "Shin's the JA's amazing fortune teller." And she's like, "That's right." And Hoshi's like, "The fortune teller? What are you talking about? Atari here is the fortune teller." And rough. That's brutal. Daikyo pulls up and he's like, "Hey, these guys are Sakamoto's friends, the guy who's wanted by the JAA." And they're just like, "Well, who do you think you are, pretending to be the fortune teller?" And just like that, fucking Daikyo explodes. He's literally he got gojoed by an arrow.
Oh my god. Yeah. Yeah, he gets the Mario sound effect.
Yeah, I'm searching for it as I speak.
That wasn't a metaphor. He's dead.
Yeah, he is gone. I'm also gonna go ahead and call this ass whooping of the week.
Damn, off a death. Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
It's rough. R.I.P. Mr. Daikyo. It's rare you get the double drop,
Yo, because he thought he. I'm not even gonna say he thought. He just wasn't expecting to get shot there. He was formidable, but he just. And then Shinyu was like, "So I can kill all of you." Well, that's easy.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, I get it. You were lying, Shin. So I can kill all of you. Well, that's easy." And that's where the chapter ends, actually. Oh my God, Josh, what did you think about Sakamoto Days, chapter 189?
This shit was insane. Talk about a situation flipping multiple times. I thought Shin was about to get himself in a bad situation because he wanted to fight this kid all of a sudden. And from my perspective, I was like, "Yo, this kid could probably beat Shin and the sniper." So, and then he ended up running away. So I was like, "All right, I guess he's gonna be an issue later on." Just for them to all run into each other again, and they be like, "You ain't the fortune teller." That was crazy. I was very surprised. Like my face probably visibly looked shocked when reading this shit. Like, whoa.
Yeah.
Especially seeing this guy's body split in half. Oof.
Yeah, I started making Sopranos noises. I was like Paulie. I was like, "Oh!"
Yeah. I think I was like, "Oh."
Oh!
Because he was talking. His last words were, "Miss Hoshi, these guys are Sakamoto's friends. The guys who's wanted by the JAA dead."
Bro, you can't even Google anymore without somebody shooting you in half with their arrow. It's not like he was sliced in half. It was just like the impact of the arrow was so much that it just blew him up.
Yeah, that was some kind of arrow too. Like, yeah, it's like a cannon or something. He got hit with a cannonball,
Exactly.
point blank. Like hit with a destructo disc.
Yeah.
And his hat flew off. Oh my god,
It was
this guy got
disgraceful.
wrecked, man.
It was disgraceful.
That's
how I
this
know-
was like Gojo too.
That's how I know I wouldn't survive in the JA jail. I wouldn't be able to resist looking at my phone for a second.
Bro, fuck. Yeah, absolutely not. I mean, speaking of series I wouldn't survive in, I said that shit in the chat the other day, how like if I had to go to like if I was in the Hunter universe, I'd be a regular ass citizen. There's no way I'd ever like pass the Hunter exam.
Yeah.
I might learn about Nen through someone else by luck, by sheer luck. I probably wouldn't be good enough to like really do nothing crazy with it.
Yeah.
I bet my ability wouldn't even be that OD. Like, bro, I don't know, man. These series been humbling me lately. Like, maybe I'm just growing up. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe,
I can't
you know,
do none of that shit.
I remember the innocent times where I thought I could survive in any of these worlds.
Nigga, the tuning exams. But like not even the tournament. Remember that weren't they like in some forest or
The
some
forest
crazy
of death
shit?
would have. I would be dead in the forest of death.
Yeah, I would have been one of those body bags. Orochimaru didn't have to be there. I just
There was a murderous pedophile in the middle of these forests, just looking for kids. It was not good.
yeah, and he's also one of the strongest ninjas in
Oh
the
my
world,
God.
so that doesn't help.
I couldn't do it. I don't think I would survive in any world. One Piece is actually a deceptively difficult world to live in. Like as a normal person.
I just live on one of those islands in the East Blue and hope that Arlong doesn't take over.
Bro,
You know what I mean?
it's so hard to be a citizen in One Piece. Like Captain Kuro would have been the end of me. You know what I mean?
If he was in the Marines.
Like if the Straw Hats weren't there, forget even being about the Marines. If the Straw Hats didn't happen to show up on that day, Kuro murders like a bunch of people on that day.
Is Kuro the butler guy?
Yeah, the butler guy. Him and his pirates are gonna run through that village and kill everyone, or kill a good amount of people.
Yeah, that was their plan, right? They was revving up to do that shit.
Yeah, and their strongest fighter would have been Usopp.
Oh my god. Yeah, no thanks. I'm good.
Yeah. I'll say this about Sakamoto Days. If you're like a regular person, you're pretty safe. They tend to like go out of their way to make sure regular people don't die.
Yeah. You just don't want to be on a train cart when Sakamoto's fighting against
Bro,
somebody.
like imagine the delay on that. I can't believe the train didn't stop right there. In New York, that would have been a problem.
What about New York New?
In York New, it would. I guess it would still be a problem. I'd probably be a regular citizen in York New.
For sure. I probably would have been out of town when that fucking auction was going on too.
Yeah, in Carolina North.
Yeah. Yeah. Neverland Court. Yeah, that's a good one. This is a cool chapter though.
Yeah.
I don't know what to rank this, but it was very entertaining. Almost the RGC. I guess it was pretty much in second place.
Yeah. Were those your thoughts, or should I?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, go ahead if you had any.
Yeah, this was my RGC, honestly.
Oh, word.
Certified RGC. Certified RGC. Certified RGC.
I have this mini
Can I
rule.
ask you something?
Oh yeah, go for it.
all right, if this guy got shot but was still in one piece, is this still the RGC?
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
No, I mean maybe not, huh? I don't know. I'll think about it. Honestly, I have a rule. If there's like a series that makes me make Sopranos noises in my head when I first read it,
Yeah.
then it's a pretty high candidate for RGC for me. I turned this page and I didn't say it out loud, but in my head I literally was like, "Oh!" you know.
Yeah. You was a spaghetti eating mobster when you turned that page inside your head.
Damn right, man. I had that gabagool. Surprise.
Brian was here. He'd be so happy right now.
Brian has never watched The Sopranos. He wouldn't understand.
Another gabagool reference.
Yeah.
You know, he's just in it for the memes, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's something of a problem with our country. In it for the memes.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, this was a great chapter overall. I love how it all converged. We're finally going to get kind of a climax to this part of the story, and I'm very excited. The jail stuff has been some of the coolest stuff so far in this like current iteration. I'm not super interested in the Sakamoto side of the story, but I am loving the jail, because I guess I am a sucker for a jailbreak story. So I'm into it. I'm excited to see how this all converges here. Tenkyu is Tenkyu is a really cool villain. And
is that Hisuke's end goal?
No, I wouldn't say that. Maybe. I would know. Heisuke's end goal is the sniper guy who's just the barrel of the gun.
Yeah, true.
This guy doesn't even compare to that kid.
Jeans.
A hockey man? You mean a fighter who relies on hockey?
It's so good. But I am enjoying this. I'm excited to see how this goes. Hopefully we don't cut to Sakamoto again for a second and just let this play out, because I'm here for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are all my thoughts. I mean, it was a simple and clean reason for it being my favorite chapter, but I really just enjoyed like the character and the ramping up of the stakes here. I'm excited to see how this goes. How absurd this is going to be. One of my favorite parts of Sakamoto is how absurd like the action can get. And I'm here for it.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't think the security guard was gonna give it up like that.
Honestly, me neither. Man, I hope Hoshi makes it.
No.
No, just no.
Absolutely not.
I don't get any like assurance. No hope at all.
No, from my point of view, it's like a 15% chance. I wouldn't say 0.
Okay. Fine. Very well. But yeah, those are all my thoughts on Sakamoto. Great chapter overall. So do you have any thoughts? Shall we move onward?
Yeah. Hopefully that guy that died has postmortem Nen or something, because
there's no way he has postmortem Nen.
Yeah.
Postmortem Nen is not granted to people who get blown in half by an arrow. Unfortunately.
Yeah, that's probably true. That sounds like the logical answer. Okay, that's all I had to say, though.
All right. Well, let's move onward then. Kagurabachi. And with that, I'm going to pass this one over to Josh.
So speaking of agendas. Yeah.
You sweating over there?
I'll say this. Sweating is not even the word. Like maximum perspiration It's probably like the more accurate term. Enough to create a slip and slide on my own without a hose. Yeah, so I guess we'll get to that a little bit later. Though. We'll have some fun with that later. But it's looking bad for Team Josh and Brian. I'm gonna say that. Anyway,
Yeah,
this
it's
is
not looking
Kagurabachi.
great for you guys.
No, not at all. It's also not looking great for another swordsman.
Oh my
but
god!
Like I said,
Tell me about it.
I'm not. Yeah, no. All right, enough foreshadowing. Actually, speaking of foreshadowing, that's what the chapter starts with, as we see a sword floating in the air. A sword floating in the air with paper butterflies. With that sorcerer kid looking up. I forgot his name already. Could you please help
Oh,
me?
you
Chris?
shit.
So while Chris is looking that up for me, to rehash what's been going on, how do I put it? The contractor swordsman has been under attack in their like temple stronghold, and just when shit was getting really bad, they was Akari was able to like use his sorcery abilities to bring Samura's sword back, and he activated it. We seen some crows fly out, and he killed every fucking body. So or so we think. Anyway, so yeah, that cuts to where we at now. Samura just finished his move. Everyone's like, "Whoa, what was that? This is an impossible amount of feathers. It had to be Tobamune. Tobamune." So Samura is like, "Where did that tree bastard go?" And I'm thinking too personally, like, "Yeah, bro, where are you at, my nigga? Please, like, come out and attack him." But that's not what happens. He, instead of trying to attack Samura, he says, "Peace out. I lost. We're out of here." Um, at least that's what it seems like
The
for
kid's
now, anyway.
sorry, the kid's name is Hirohiko.
Hirohiko,
Hirohiko.
Hirohiko, the paper sorcerer, and also antisocial. No, not really. Anyway, everybody's basically checking on each other. I said the tree guy disappeared, right? Oh, yeah, he chucked
Yes.
the deuces up. Plan failed, right? For now. So, yeah, the Hakari still wants to bring back Uraha's right, yeah, I remember his name, Uraha or something like that.
Yeah, it's Uraha.
His sword, yeah, but the lady that was helping to revive his technique and heal him was like, "Yo, you gotta relax. You wasn't supposed to bring in Tobamune, and you damn sure not gonna bring in the second one. You're gonna end up killing yourself or something." So he relaxes, and then we get a moment where Summer is like, "Yo, is everyone all right?" We get a little black panel, and I thought the page was gonna turn and Samura was gonna be like under attack, but no, it was just some side character that was 22 years old with a sister that died. Sometimes we joke around a lot on this podcast about the authors of these series listening to our podcast. I mean, probably not. But then there's moments like this, right? That I can't help but take personally. Like, you playing with me, bro? You was like, "Oh yeah, you want to predict someone to die? You want one of my characters to die?" Is Rio Fura.
Well, we didn't
He
even know
sends
this
money
guy.
to his little sister.
So there's no way we would have known.
That's the whole point. Like a big F you to Josh and Brian. Well, anyway, Uh, they're pretty raw about it, and Samura's sad, and they're like, he didn't die in vain. He fought valiantly to protect the sword bearers, and that this is a major turning point. Samura's like, no, unfortunately, this is just the start. As we finally get the name of the chapter, Collapse 57. So we cut back to Chihiro and Hirohiko. Is
Yeah,
that what you said
Hirohiko.
his name was?
Hirohiko.
Yeah, Hirohiko. Thank you. Yeah, yeah. And he's still sitting there without his arms, and he's like, "Oh, we failed. They got Tobimune." And and Chihiro's like, "Oh, Hakuri, nice." And I feel like this is like the first time in a while he had like a weight lifted off his shoulders. He looked slightly relaxed as Hirohiko thinks to himself, well, that just changes the path. The destination remains the same. We didn't really lose. It's no big deal. LOL. Then Chihiro starts going on about how like, trying to make Chihiro question like whether the sword bearers were really heroes or not. And I'm gonna save like a whole bunch of um extra narrative to basically get to the point, which is that the owner of the Shinuchi, which they fought to get back at the auction hall, like basically there's a really good chance that he's like a bad guy, especially based on how his powers were. And Chihiro felt like the Cure, which was like the final boss of the last arc. Like he felt like he wasn't he wasn't controlling those powers, that he was being controlled by someone else, which is, obviously from our vantage point as readers, we've seen that the swords, the swordsman was activated. He definitely knew the sword was being used. So, it's very reasonable to accept that it's true that he's a bad guy. But I mean, Chihiro's just like, look, like it don't make no difference. We can't let you, like, we gonna keep him alive because we can't let you guys use that shit or anybody else. You know what I mean? So talking all this shit for what? But then the sorcerer tells Chihiro like, oh, Samura said that the sword bearer should just like die. And then we get a cut back to him saying, I just had to keep flailing through the darkness. I don't know. And it's just like, it's kind of weird. I guess we could talk about it more towards the end. But yeah, basically, while Chihiro's like thinking about what the sorcerer was saying, we see a sword drop down out of nowhere. And right as Chihiro is distracted, this the sorcerer picks up his decapitated arm with his mouth, swings it at Chihiro as I guess like more paper knives or whatever fly through the windows. And Chihiro's like, oh damn, there's some more reinforcements. And right as he starts thinking about that, we hear the sorcerer Hirohiko, thank you, say Kumayeri, as we see him spawn two pretty Japanese ghost looking ladies. And in a 2-page spread where we also see Chihiro think about the image of Uraha. And as he's confused, and that's the end of the chapter. So yeah, wow.
Yeah.
I guess spoilers, this is my RGC.
Certified RGC. Certified RGC. Certified RGC.
But yeah, go for it, Chris.
Man. This is one of those weeks where it was really tough for me to choose an RGC. And man, I do have some buyer's remorse here, but I feel like I would have had that either way. But this was a stellar chapter, honestly. The pacing of it and just like the slow reveals, the fact that Samura may be a fucking traitor. I mean, man, he may not die in this arc, but he might be dead to me,
Yo, that did not even occur to me, bro. I swear to God. That not even,
Really?
that didn't even cross my fucking mind, bro.
Yeah, because the implication is that because he can use Kumeyuri, that is Uruha's dead.
Yeah, okay. So let's just talk. Let's just talk freely, right?
Yeah, let's do it.
So, okay. So the implication is that Uruha's dead. Now, look. And you said what you said, that I had no clue that it might have been Samura betraying them. I just thought that maybe the fight wasn't actually over. And that's why I kept saying, like, for now, or as it seems, because personally, I think that there's a chance that Samura still dies too. But I don't think that's a high chance. I'm just holding out for hope. The arc isn't finished yet. So there's no wrong burgundies until the arc finishes.
Yeah, I know. Trust me. I know.
All right. But when we do it, it's gonna be quality and it's gonna be deserved.
No, I'm not rushing this at all. I am waiting for this.
Yeah. We good. Yeah, we good on that.
I'm all about process. Okay, your unbiased king is harsh but fair.
Yeah, that's the most I can ask for in this situation, honestly. So anyway, yeah, bro, Uraha is dead as far as we know.
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
is that a confirmation?
I mean, this is the rule is you can only really use these swords if the sword bearer is dead, or you can take ownership of it if the sword bearer is dead.
Right. Are we retconning now? Is that what we doing?
I don't know.
Or is somebody dead?
It's entirely possible Samura kills Uraha there.
Oh my God! Why? Because he said the sword bearer should die.
He said they also mentioned that Samura made a pact with Yura 3 years ago.
Oh, he did say that. It doesn't make sense though. Let's really think about it though. Like Samura, based on what we know of him, it's not like if he's saying that the sword bearers should die. I don't like. What is he critical of? Is he critical of the power of the swords? And no, the sword bearers shouldn't die because these people are just going to use the swords more anyway, right? I mean, where's the logic?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, we know nothing.
It's a missing piece, right?
This is just kind of like being drip fed to us. We don't know what happened. Maybe it's Samura didn't kill him. I mean, I would hope not because I like Samura. So I would hope he didn't kill him. But it's looking not good for our heroes here. At any rate, Hirohiko is able to use Samura's sword. Not Samura. Uruha's sword. So that's not good.
Yeah, he says at least that's what Samura thinks. That's why he made a act with Yura 3 years. What? Yo. But
Well, in a sense, you're right. You were right, Josh. You needed the antagonist to get a hold of the magic blades somehow.
no, I mean that wasn't all right. That wasn't a matter of right or wrong. And the crazy thing is, I was listening back to that on that episode, and I had wanted to call you that moment and to be like, "Yo, Chris, like, just so you're fully understanding, like that is the rule of like that's what was set by the author. Like they say, like the contracted swordsmen are the only ones that could use it, except for the Shinichi, because I guess it was so strong. but obviously he couldn't fully use it. But anyway,
But yeah, I mean, it's implied
so-
in this chapter that the sword bearer was using it through Kiora.
right. Oh. Yeah, but not its full power or whatever. Like he couldn't draw the sword. It was still in its like hilt.
Yeah. It was they say here that it felt like someone else inside him. So it's like it's implying that the sword bearer for the Shinichi was able to control Kiora when he like unsheathed the sword in the first place.
Is that what you was trying to say before then? Like on the last podcast? Like when you said, oh, like that's not the only way.
No, I mean, I didn't know this. But this is something that Chihiro is also realizing as all of this is swimming in his brain.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I'm just here hoping
I
that
think
it's a
Ura's
big
dead.
misunderstanding.
yeah, man. I don't know what happened. I remember reading that. I remember reading that shit on my own, and I didn't even think nothing. I thought maybe because they had a conversation or something like that. Maybe he didn't know he was Hishaku or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. But for as tragic as the situation might end up being, I am excited to see what Uruha's sword can do. I don't know what these ladies are about to do, but it's about to be super badass.
Yeah, that fight is not over.
Yeah.
That's why he was so calm.
Very, very excited. Those are all my thoughts.
Yeah,
What were your thoughts? Do you have anything else to say?
Shit, not really. I mean, I guess I gave a lot of my thoughts, during your thoughts too. So I don't really have much more to add.
Okay. Yeah, this was awesome. Awesome chapter of Kagurabachi. So such a great series overall. Get on it while it's still 57 chapters. And it's not too much work to catch up. But yeah, that was it for Kagurabachi. I think we can move onward. Let's go. Hunter x Hunter. This is Hunter x Hunter chapter 406, Regalia. So, among the many plot lines of this arc, last we left off, the certain 3 members of the Phantom Troop are working with one of the Kakin Mafia families, or the Kakin Mafia families in general, to take down the other Kakin Mafia family, the Haley. And there's just been this weird gang war that is slowly bubbling in the lower tiers of the whale ship. And so we see Finks, Phaeton, and Nobunaga following one of the Cha'ar underbosses, who's guiding them through this weird tunnel in the ship. And this underboss turns to Nobunaga and tells him that he'll keep his sword for him, because where they're going, if they see a weapon on you, they may just shoot you. There's young and experienced soldiers, so they won't probably take kindly to some guy walking around with a weapon. Nobunaga protests, just like, "Why am I single? This isn't even my sword. I just made this. I'm not going."
Wait, that's not.
I guess
conjured
not.
That.
I don't know if he conjured it, but it's not the sword that he usually uses. Because I guess they didn't get to wherever their weapons are being stored.
Yeah, I think he's an emitter, by the way.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly Nobunaga's thing, but he may be an emitter. I wouldn't be surprised.
They don't say it, but
Yeah, we don't know his ability at all, so we don't know. But oh yeah, you've been rewatching Hunter x Hunter though. They don't mention it then, right?
No, but you know what stuck out to me was what Hisoka was saying about like the personality types based on then, and he is kind of short tempered.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. But they go through the door and they enter kind of like this weird in between area of the black whale. It's like a crazy 2-page spread, super detailed background work. And they start walking up the stairs that will lead them to the tier 2. We learn here that the Char and the GU manage the treatment plants, for the waste of the ship. And Nobunaga, in so many words, deduces that actually then maybe the Haley is slowly infiltrating both families using the management, the waste management operation, seeing as how the underbosses don't really oversee it. They kind of leave it to their underlings, and their underlings then leave it to, I guess, this weird subcontractor thing that actually do the work. So they're thinking that the Haley is using the subcontractors, getting their people into the subcontractors to actually work in the waste management, and thus that would make them able to, I guess, discard bodies and do stuff like that. I don't know, do a whole ton of clandestine abilities or activities.
Yeah.
So Nobunaga takes this as an opportunity to fuck off and investigate this.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, cool.
He literally says like, yeah.
He's like, sick. Now I have a reason to turn back. So yeah, he goes back and he lets Finks and Phaeton in on the various abilities that are waiting for them in the second tier of the Haley officers that are there, including, the guy who misplaces damage using Nen, and the other one who, I just read this, but he has this weird ability that if you, I guess, commit a crime, quote unquote, these Nen soldiers will appear and attack you, although they don't kill you. They're unable to kill you. They just like can't die or are very difficult to kill. So yeah, he warns them about all that stuff. But basically the idea is that, they mostly have, I guess, defensive abilities. So it's best to let them attack first and go from there if there's any trouble. We then cut to the inside of one of the Haley's hideouts. I don't know if you remember this, Josh, but there's an oyster underneath this cabinet or shelf, and it turns into.
Don't remember that.
Yeah, this is when Hinrig and Nobunaga first made it into this headquarters, when they were teleported there by one of the Haley members' Nen abilities.
When they caught him, right?
Yeah, and they placed a transmitter in there so they could find this hideout when they regroup with the others. So Hinrig turned this transmitter into an oyster. And now, this scene, we see that the oyster returns back to the original form of the transmitter. So I don't know what this means for the story. It feels ominous. It's important enough that it felt it to be shown. Maybe this thing's going to be found or something. I don't know.
Well, it was already making that blip noise as an oyster.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're going to hear it now. But I feel like if they seen an oyster under their fucking desk, they'd move it anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, I would.
It's like, what's this oyster doing here?
Right? I'd probably move an oyster sooner than I'd move that beeping thing.
Yeah. If
Honestly.
it's a beeping thing, I was like, is it a bomb? Should I not touch it?
I doubt it. Well, I guess if I was in the Haley and all of that, yeah, I'd be very vigilant. But normally, I'm just saying, I'd be more worried about that oyster.
Yeah, no, I'd be more concerned about the oyster. It's a random oyster. But anyway, it turns back to a transmitter, so it's okay. Speaking of Hinrig, we reunite with Hinrig. Henrik has regrouped with, I forget this kid's name, but he has the ability to control his blood. I think he's a manipulator. And he was one of the people of the Char that ran into Benolonov, who was disguised as Hisoka. And as this series couldn't get more complicated and dense, it's also kind of told out of sequence because we've seen this from the perspective, this very same event from the perspective of both this kid and also Benolonov. So what happened basically is that Hisoka as Benolonov killed one of the Cha'ar members after she finds out that he's not really Hisoka. So he kills her. Well, he knocks out one of the guys, kills this lady while this person's knocked out, and then transforms into this lady and you know, misleads the blood guy by telling him that, you know, they definitely saw Hisoka, and that would, like, I guess, throw the mafia off of his trail. So basically Henrig figures this all out through this discussion. He's like, wait,
Yeah.
you're telling me that
he really did.
Yeah, he's like, you're telling me that, like, she said that this guy is definitely Hisoka. And he's like, yeah, okay. So what if that's what they wanted us to think, so that we would limit ourselves to that, you know? And this kid's confused. It's like, wait, we were just saying that Hisoka might have been Lynch. Lynch is the girl that was murdered by Benolonov.
Yeah.
And he's like, what if that wasn't Hisoka, then who? And Henrik breaks it down. He says, Lynch found out Hisoka was a fake through her ability. That's why he killed her. And you were left alive to tell us that you guys definitely saw Hisoka and found him, not realizing that it wasn't actually him. So they don't know why this happened and who is faking and pretending to be Hisoka, but they're like, something doesn't feel right. I don't like it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it could be the Phantom Troop, and if they find out it's the Phantom Troop, then that just causes more problems between the Cha'ar and the GU, who were actually being cooperative in this moment, trying to take down the Haley. So just another fucking bit of the avalanche that's about to come down in this boat. I would, if I was a regular person, and I would never get on this boat. It just gives me bad vibes.
Yeah, this is the worst place to be.
Oh my God, it sucks, bro. These poor people.
Aside from the Dark Continent. Ooh, okay. You know what? I'll wait to ask this question when Brian's here.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Meanwhile, we cut over to the funeral procession of Halkenberg, who, just to keep you guys refreshed, is not actually dead. He faked his death and transferred his consciousness into Prince Benjamin's second in command. So the first prince's second in command is currently possessed by Halkenberg. Although Halkenberg doesn't have complete control over him, he only has control over this guy as long as he's unconscious. So, yeah, it's going to be weird. The plan is that he's going to possess this guy and fake his death so that he can get to Prince Benjamin and kill him in this guy's body.
Yes.
Which,
I love that.
It's nuts. This story is crazy. Meanwhile, Krollo is at the procession, actually. He's like walking around the area and he's calling this phone. He uses Skill Hunter to conjure this phone, and it keeps giving him like a voicemail message. Like, the person you have called is not in this area, which can only mean, we don't know what this ability is, but it seems to be you call a number of a person you're looking for, and the phone, I guess, tells you if they're in the area or not somehow. So Krollo's looking for somebody, and we learn that what the bigger scheme of the Phantom Troop is here. They are, of course, looking for Hisoka, and Krollo thinks to himself that, like, well, they didn't seem to freak out that we're here despite that. So, you know, that's crazy. But in order to fight Hisoka, Krollo is looking to steal an ability from someone. And before he can do that, he has to steal the 3 sacred treasures of the Kakin Empire, being the seed urn, which we've seen before, the urn that gave the princes their Nen beasts, the Lotus Acro,
Legendary.
yeah, the Lotus Anchorite, the Divine Mummy, overseer of the Succession Battle, wow, and the Sword of Ascension given to the next king, the Sword of Good Omens. So, yeah. He figures that the mafia knows why they're there. They would never believe that they're just there to look for only there to look for Hisoka. They must be at least somewhat wary that they're after their 3 sacred treasures. We learned that Crollo is looking for these abilities, these artifacts, so he can upgrade Skill Hunter, steal an ability that he needs that will finally be able to put Hisoka in the grave once and for all.
Eesh.
But yeah, he's getting increasingly impatient because he is pissed off at Hisoka that he killed Shalnark and Koropi. He's very much on a revenge path right now. But he's like, he also mentions that the best option is already in place and that the spiders will go on even if he dies. That is what is worthy of all. My design of the spiders. As the procession for Halkenbird's funeral starts, Crollo starts another call. The person is not there. And he's like, so they're upstairs as I thought. So it looks like Crollo might be starting to be on his way to tier 1 to find who he needs to find and to get the treasures that he seeks. So that was crazy. That was Hunter x Hunter, chapter 406. Josh, what did you think of this chapter?
Yeah, this felt like it felt like it was a short chapter, but I don't know. I guess the most interesting parts was with Crollo. I mean, it sounds like a video game. He's like, I need to get the 3 treasures to upgrade my ability so I can beat this guy. I love it. I love how that sounds. Man, I think Hunter x Hunter has these panels sometimes, or like these like face shots of characters that look so fucking funny. And this one of Crollo on page what is that, 16, with like the lines drawn in, which is the next best option is already in place to spread it. That's like vintage Hunter x Hunter right there.
Yeah.
You know, like it's hard to like explain, but yeah, it just puts a smile on my face, like, because it looks kind of derpy on purpose, but you still have to take it seriously because that's Crollo.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's man, the Phantom Troop is interesting as far as like what their motivations are. Obviously, they go around trying to steal shit and they kill whoever's in their path, etc. But I mean, Crollo's very motivated to kill Hisoka. And it makes me think about like what is like what like, is this all gonna be wrapped up here, like on the whale, like on this boat, like Hisoka, the Phantom Troop, and what's his name, Kurapika, like all these people are like really connected. And the only thing I would say that's not a part of this is like, Hisoka's relationship with like Gon and Killua, as far as him wanting to like fight them. So I feel like Hisoka has to survive this to fight Gon again at some point, because the last fight they had was at Heaven's Arena. There ain't no way that's gonna be their last fight. Fuck out of here. That's how I feel. So, it's I don't know, man. I think Kurapika's gonna die, bro. I think he's gonna die, and I think the Phantom Troop is gonna die too. I think this is the end, and I started thinking about all of that because of how he was talking. He says, like, he's like, even if I may die, and the next best option is in place, the spiders will go on. Like, it just feels like Let's see. You know, we're gonna figure an end to this shit. Anyway, I guess those are all of my thoughts, man.
Yeah, I'm not
Really remember
certain.
anything else?
I'm not certain that the troop will die. Krollo may die. Karapika, it's not looking good for him. I mean, he is like clawing and scratching because he is so like he got caught in the middle of a situation that he could not anticipate.
Yeah.
And he is
He
really
was just trying to get the eyes back. That's it.
yeah, I mean, I love just the plan that he had of just like causing like a Nen Cold War and just like teaching everyone Nen so that it's a deterrent for more combat. Like, because the more
Dude,
people know.
Frollo's about to go to tier 1. Oh, sorry, my bad.
Yeah. No, did I say Corollo? I meant Karapika.
No, you said yeah. No,
Yeah.
you were talking about Karapika's like
Oh, yeah.
Nen classes, how smart that was.
Yeah.
Try to stall shit.
Yeah. Or just like to make it so like they can't just kill people too so easily. That if everybody has Nen, then everybody will be better prepared for the experienced Nen soldiers that Benjamin has. Everybody will have abilities that will cause everybody to think twice before attacking.
Yeah.
It really is just like creating an arms race so that people will chill for a second. But he knows he's stalling for time in a sense because it's kind of a double-edged sword because that's just more people who are stronger on the ship. And he and Bill
Yeah, that too.
I mean, he and Bill are the only guards for Wobble.
Mm-hmm.
So it's brutal. It's not looking good, and you know the spiders are there, and he.
Yes, man. Like that's you know that's what I wanted to say also. Like I'm like I've been watching Hunter x Hunter again, and I'm literally in the middle of the York New City arc, and like yo, these dudes don't like Kurapika got beef with them, but they got beef with him too.
Yes,
It's like
a chain
the
dude.
same way they want to, right? Yeah, the chain guy. Yo, the same way like he feels about Hisoka, definitely he feels about like Kurapika.
Oh yeah,
for
I mean,
sure.
they killed Uvogin. He was like an OG.
Yeah, and Pakunodo.
Oh, he killed Pakunoda? Wow.
Yeah,
He
right.
did kill
'Cause she put
Pakunoda.
yeah,
Yeah.
because she said if you use your ability, you'll die or something like that. Or
Mhm.
if you tell them about what happened,
Yeah. If
you'll
she uses
die.
her
They put
ability,
that condition.
because her ability was
Mhm.
like memory related, so like she had to use her memory. She used her ability to tell them who Kurapika was. I think.
Yeah. And he ain't scared of them, but you can't fight all of them, man.
You can't fight all of them and
He
the
had, like-
princes.
Yeah, he can barely fight them more than one because his abilities are really meant for like a one-on-one fight anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't even know if he could beat Crollo one. Well, I don't know. It's just crazy because Crollo's going up there and the spiders have no idea Kurapika's on this boat. So the crazy thing is in my mind, prior to like this realization, I was looking at the situation like, oh man, like the spiders got to worry about Kurapika. Like, oh, when Kurapika sees them, he's gonna say, "Oh, fuck Wobble," and I gotta kill them. But really, the reality is, Kurapika's in a really bad spot. There's so many enemies around him. That's not even thinking about the spiders, like the other princes that want to kill him just because he's a guard. Man, this is a crazy arc. Hunter x Hunter is such a great series.
Yeah. So good. It's man. It was a joy to read the second time around this arc. Cause like I feel like
Yeah.
this is a thing about manga in particular and like consuming manga is that some series are really long. So a lot of the time, like when you read them or watch them, it's just about catching up. That's why I recommend people read One Piece more than once because I know there's a pressure when you're first reading One Piece to catch up and you miss a lot of stuff. But the second time around, you could just like read it as a fan
Yeah.
without that kind of pressure that like, oh, you're gonna get far behind. You know, you got to catch up to avoid spoilers, whatever you got to do. And I felt that again with Hunter x Hunter this time. That I was able to absorb a little bit more of what's going on here, and it's so good, guys. Very dense, extremely dense, and I can understand why people may fall off, but it's worth it, bro. There's just so much stuff going on.
It is. I've said it before, but I'll say it again. It is a manga reader's manga.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I feel. Like it respects its readers.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, he, really fills in the blanks for us. Like, it's not like he makes these stories like super hard to understand, but it's just like he expects us to understand like the more mature themes, or like the nuances between like why people react in certain ways, or come up with certain plans, and how they treat each other, like the relationships. It's just mature. It feels like a manga made for adults that really enjoy manga.
Mm-hmm.
Like he did, like without like no training wheels or nothing like that.
Yeah.
Like unapologetically, I'm gonna write my shit how I want to write it. And I'm gonna be such a nerd about it, and you guys are gonna love it, and we do.
Mm-hmm.
Jujutsu Kaisen felt like that a little at times too.
Yeah. It helps that
That's why I
Gege
like
was
this
like
so much.
very inspired by Jujutsu Kaisen, and it definitely makes sense. I mean, I could see a lot of the influence in Jujutsu Kaisen from Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah, big respect for the series. Big respect for Tagashi.
Mm-hmm.
Giving us 20 more chapters.
Yeah.
I think we got like 5 more. I mean, we've gotten 5 or 6 so far.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, when you think about
Damn
it,
it, man.
we're a quarter of the way through, I want to say.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
There might be 30 by the end of the year. Who knows? We might be getting even more than we bargained for, which is
Prayers up, yeah.
which at that point, make it monthly, bro.
Right, like you could transition to monthly after that.
We'll
like when
take
he finishes.
monthly. No, make it monthly now while you're ahead. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
ostensibly,
I can wait.
You have like 2 years of content if you do it monthly. Almost 2 years of content.
Yeah, imagine this was a chapter that you had to wait a month for. I would have been sick.
Yeah, that's rough though. Yeah, you're right. Because it has the same.
Rough, bro.
It would probably be a similar.
You got to structure them for the month.
Yeah, it would
in my
be.
opinion.
It would be kind of rough because that's kind of the problem with World Trigger right now is that it's a lot of information to retain and remember for a month. Maybe, you know what? Maybe never mind. I guess I'm saying it for the good of the author and for continuing to get this series at a somewhat frequent pace. But yeah, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe keep it weekly or bi-weekly.
I feel like World Trigger is still adjusting to the monthly format, because there's even some months we'll get 2 chapters and it always feels like it's like a weekly chapter.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion.
Yeah,
but I think it could be better.
Yeah,
and I think if Tagashi was to go monthly, I would like it to be structured better too.
Yeah,
for that month.
I don't know. Those are all my thoughts. I mean, I don't know.
We'll see
if you finish your thoughts. I really like this chapter a lot.
No, yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah,
this was a good week.
It was a good week. Everybody's just knocking it out of the park this week. So many good series. Everybody's doing their thing. It's a good year for Jump. Everybody was worried about, what would become of Jump after My Hero Academia, after Jujutsu Kaisen. We're going to be okay.
Yeah.
Jump fans will eat and continue to eat. All right, ready to move on to the next one?
Yes, sir.
All righty, let's go.
I don't really have to fucking care who's in my way. I'm gonna fucking kill everybody.
Undead Unluck.
Everybody.
Honestly, that would have been a drop better to introduce Hunter x Hunter, but this is Undead Unluck, and I'm gonna pass this one over to Josh.
good, everybody? Undead Unluck, chapter number 230, Undead Unjustice. Very sweet. So last week, Julia finally got through to to Andy. He got half his head chopped by death, and it would bring him and Julia together so that she can finally manifest injustice through meeting Victor. So this chapter begins with it looks like she's entering the literally the skull of Andy / Victor, and with that card too, like that remember artifact. That's what it kind of looks like. But she's looking around. She's like flown through this dark space, and she starts seeing like memories of the past pop up, and like the past version of herself from the other loops. Juice. There we go. Yeah. So fun memories, fleeting moments of bliss amidst battle. Her and Victor, they had great times together. And then we cut to an interesting moment, which Julia says, "Oh, and it's an original memory from before either of them became the Gators." Oh, ancient lore. So, the Moon God is talking to Victor and who I guess is Juiz at the time, and she's like, "Listen, the fifth rule, who will later become a master rule, has taken a fancy to you as the vessel of justice." Interesting, how that was worded, but we'll talk about that later. And obviously she's talking about Juiz, and she's like, "Oh, what are you talking about? A vessel?" As Julia thinks to herself, like, "Oh, so this is the beginning of Negators. All right." So the Moon God continues to tell them that in several hours, the world's going to be destroyed, and and in the new world, the second game will start. Victor and Julia look at each other like, "What the fuck is she talking about?" She said, "If one of you sits in the first seat of that round table, then you will go directly to an inhabitable era in the world to come." You know how the loops work. And Victor starts saying, "Oh, like that's awesome. Like Juiz, just like you said, if you die, you could be reborn." And they're like excited about hearing about that. But that's when the Moon God is like, "Listen, basically, only one of you will be able to keep like your body memories. The other person is gonna die." And then immediately Victor's like, "Oh, I don't mind being the one dying. It's cool." Matter of fact, it's so cool. I'm gonna just become undead and come pick you up. So, and the funny thing is that, my mouth said that on its own. That I didn't know that was a thing. Has that always been a thing where like when those words come up, they say it uncontrollably,
I don't think so.
spontaneously? I don't. Whatever. I'm not gonna linger on that. So as he makes that statement, he actually becomes undead, and that's when Luna's like, "Oh, you've both been selected, and they've manifested undead and injustice." She says, "I will see you again in 4.4 billion years. Peace." And Julia, so that memory starts shattering where Julia is at. So she starts walking down these steps again in this blank memory space. And all of the script comes up, which is basically, I guess, like conversations between Juiz and Victor from mad different loops of them like trying and failing. As Julia comes to the realization that like they both basically kept like going hard for the sake of each other, through all of these loops. That's what fueled them. As she's walking through these memories, we see like a small figure up ahead as she's approaching them, saying, Julia saying you, me, and our allies helped weave the story together. So let's give it a happy ending, Victor. And we see Victor sitting down, just chilling. And he's like, damn, like I was talking all that shit about saving you, and you was the one that ended up coming to help me out. So he's like, all right, you ready to go? And he's like, yep, let's get up out of here. So we go back to the real world. Soul shoots the sleepy girl off of him, like these fucking soul chains off me. And he's about to load up
Get
another
off me.
soul beam. Yeah, right. So who you think you are? Which I'm soul. So he's about to shoot a soul beam at Julia, and he's like, "This is the end." Unjust. And he's like, "Oh shit, because his power doesn't work anymore." And then Victor starts saying, "If you hadn't stopped that attack, I would have finally been able to die. So it's Unjustice's fault. I get to revive again, eh?" I'd say this is a tragedy, wouldn't you? Which is a good point. Like, damn, you were supposed to, be laid to rest and let Andy live on. But anyway, Soul is fucking devastated as he's like, "Oh, it's been a while." He's like, "I'm really glad that you was the first master rule." He says, "Because of you that we're connected through our souls." As we get this 2-page spread saying undead injustice, and Victor shoots off a dead road.
Dead road.
It's really cool, guys. Read
Super
Undead
cool.
Unlock. So as they say, let's put an end to this, to everything. And it's so nice because like Julia's hanging on to Victor, like how Fuko hangs on to Andy. And so scared, and that's the end of the chapter. Chris, what were your thoughts?
Oh, I like this one. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't never super invested in Juice and Julia's thing because I never felt like I knew her enough as a character. But I know Victor,
Yeah.
and seeing Victor again. Although my first thought when I saw Victor was just like, he's supposed to kind of like bow out of the story and all that stuff, but it feels weird to have two undeads out there. I don't know how permanent this is or whatever, but I thought this was a cool twist at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's what this seems like, right? Like now there's two undeads.
Yeah. It feels like an okay twist at the end of the day. I am happy that, Victor's actually getting some closure because that was like, it did feel weird when they initially took him out of the story. I just kind of accepted that they would just keep him permanently out, but it's good to have the closure of Victor come out. I have a feeling that this is probably going to be a temporary thing, and then after they defeat Soul, Victor as undead will vanish or something.
Yeah. Something like that.
Something like that, but I don't know. I wonder what it was about Injustice specifically that brings him out.
I think the memories. I think she was able to. I don't know, bro.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm just a little confused. That's my only gripe with this is that I'm kind of confused as to how this works. Maybe it's the connecting to the souls thing that they're using soul as an intermediary.
That's what it was
to bring out the piece.
No, that's exactly what it was,
soul.
bro. The souls.
Yeah.
But, that I guess that makes sense. And the whole point, I guess the whole point was to manifest injustice. I don't think they knew they was gonna bring Victor out.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of like a bonus.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it.
Yeah. I guess the only thing is I wish it was a little clearer as to, the mechanics of this whole thing. But Victor was always a cool character, and it's good to see him back in a kind of less grumpy mood. I'm excited to see how this goes out, But those are all my thoughts, really.
Yeah, I want to see him go all out. I mean, look how scared Soul is. That's nice. It's cool. He's a cocky guy. So it's gonna be fun seeing him get smoked. What was I gonna bring up before? Well, I guess I do want to say this. I mean, Victor, it could be a possibility where he has his own soul. I could see that being the case, like a super happy ending where Andy and Victor get to live separately because I'm pretty sure this what happened is that she had the artifact to remember, and now she like I think Juiz like this is Julia and Juiz combined into one right here. Like this is like she regained all her memories from all the previous loops. So I don't think everybody did, but she definitely did. So this is like a godly version of Julia, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm trying to hype it up.
I'm not hyped.
trying.
You know what I mean? I because I don't think this is bad, and I'm not like angry or anything, or like even put off by this. It's just one of those things where I've been saying this for a couple weeks now, but I feel like this ending is definitely being rushed, and I can feel it sometimes. Like I feel like this whole part was supposed to be like maybe 2 chapters of Julia going into the memories and really like pulling undead out. The battle against Soul is supposed to be a little more detailed. I don't know. I feel it like moving quicker, and I could be entirely wrong because I actually don't know. But it's just a symptom of that, I think, and that's all I got for.
I don't think we're getting a third loop.
Oh, you don't think so?
No.
That's crazy.
Unless it's like the end.
Yeah. I mean, it would be crazy if we got a third loop. I don't think I would accept that, to be honest. It's like, you can't just reset the story. You only get to use this card once. You don't get to do it a second time.
Yeah.
Those are all my thoughts. What did you think?
Oh. What was something I was going to bring up? No, I don't have much else to say. Victor definitely like got used too early, like earlier in the series. That's how I felt. So it is nice to see him back again.
Mm-hmm.
But that's all I had to add.
Alrighty then. Well, that was Undead Unluck, and that has been our show. Thank you guys so much for listening, as per usual. You can find me at the Chris Espinal on Twitter and Instagram. Josh is at JDCole_37 on Instagram, at New Jump City Josh on Twitter and TikTok. Brian's at b.esp on Twitter and Instagram. Catch him where he's streaming at twitch.tv/itspunchline. Email the show at newjumpcitypod@gmail.com with any questions, suggestions, anything you guys want us to talk about. And we'll talk about it on the pre-show chat show that we usually do, but we didn't do this week because Brian's not here. Subscribe to us on all the things. Just subscribe, like, share, review, do all the nice things that help us get recognized on the algorithm if you're a fan of the show. And we will see you guys next week. Thank you guys for hanging out. Stay safe, New Jump citizens.
Peace out, y'all. Thanks for listening.